Is about the Lakers' chaos, most recently hearing from Magic Johnson, of course, loud and clear on First Take about what went wrong. Then we heard Rob Pelinka's response. Someone who's been quiet in all of this is LeBron James. But Brian Windhorst is now speculating that behind the scenes, LeBron is doing plenty of talking.
From what I understand, he has already begun the recruiting process. I've heard he has had contact with Kawhi Leonard. I've heard he's had contact with Jimmy Butler. There's no tampering enforcement by players. And while Magic Johnson, the guy who got in trouble for tampering before, is no longer there, LeBron is tamperer-in-chief of the Lakers right now. The thing about it is I don't know if, texts and calls and maybe a dinner with LeBron is enough for the Lakers to overcome the hurdles that they're going to have. And so, to be honest with you guys, I think the Lakers really have to look at the trade market. How willing would they be to move that number 4 pick? I really don't think they can honestly think that they're going to get Kawhi, Kyrie, or Kevin Durant, even if they have LeBron as their lead recruiter.
So that's Windy again on PTI, and it's important to point out he's not reporting that these are the things that are happening, but this is what he's hearing and he's speculating, and it's all reasonable to assume that LeBron is talking to these guys. What do you think are the chances that despite all of the mess that seems to be going on above him in the organization, that LeBron can talk one of these preeminent players in the NBA into coming to play with him in L.A.?
30% chance, because you got to remember, LeBron is also going into his 17th season. So if you're one of those guys, and you're in a unique spot because all of the top guys have already won a championship. So you don't have to necessarily run to play with the Lakers and play with LeBron James in order to try to secure that. And you're trying to look for somebody that you could probably run with for a few years as opposed to a couple of years because LeBron, as I mentioned, is going into a 17th.
What do you think?
You make a great point, Jalen, as far as his 17th year. So that means he's willing to go ahead and pass the torch for the most part as far as someone being able to do things on the floor on the offensive side. But you know what? It's not about, you hear about guys talking with one another. They played together. He has relationships with these guys. They played in USA teams. So it's not a matter of, oh, my goodness, he sought them out that way. They have relationships.
Well, Jalen, you weren't here a couple of days ago, but I got into a huge argument, and it continues with Tom Thibodeau, and I continue to believe I'm right. The perfect player to pair with LeBron, and to your point, Brucey, it's not someone he played with on Team USA. It's someone he played with in Cleveland, is Kyrie. Kyrie Irving found out the grass is not always greener when you have your own team in Boston. Look how badly that went. Their games fit together perfectly. I believe that is the perfect player to go play with him. If they can find a way to make some kind of trade and get Kyrie to sign there, I think the Lakers could be back like that.
I agree. And it's not all doom and gloom in Los Angeles. I remember when Magic went on First Take and then the fallout from that. He didn't do them any favors. However, they have some great young assets. They still have LeBron James. As you mentioned, they can still acquire a max player. I think that guy can be a guy like Kyrie Irving because you got to look at who they got to beat. You got to beat the Golden State Warriors. They have Steph Curry. You got to beat Portland. They have Dame Lillard. He's a guy that can actually compete against those guys and play at their level.
Look, you don't have to ask the question, can LeBron James and Kyrie Irving win a championship playing together? Because we've already seen the answer. The answer is yes. And if Golden State breaks up, essentially, if Kevin Durant winds up leaving the Warriors, then I think I would give that team with the Lakers, depending on what they did around him, a real shot.
But if you're Kyrie, you're already asked to leave from playing with LeBron. You go to Boston, it seems like a turnkey situation that should work. It does not work.
Right.
It kind of looks like you go back crawling to LeBron.
Okay. Well, not crawling. It's the whole deal of sometimes we learn our mistakes of what we've done. And he did it earlier this year. You remember the whole apology to LeBron?
It's sometimes, one man's crawling back is another man's honest reflection on the circumstance.
Correct.
And assess yourself, assess the circumstances, and say, you know what? Maybe I'm better suited being a great player with another great player to take some of that heat and burden of leadership and all of that off of me. I think that would be a very legitimate way for Kyrie to look at it.
But all of these circumstances are unique because the Nets and the Clippers both have 2 max spots, but they're considered the secondary teams in their own market.
Right.
You have all of these max caliber players who are free agents that have already won championships. You got the reigning back-to-back finals MVP who may lead the best team in basketball. So we have not seen anything like this.
I mean, Kyrie may be deciding, and I don't know this, he may be deciding between teaming up with KD and the Knicks, which has been long rumored, or LeBron and the Lakers. I'm not sure which of those circumstances feels better. There's more to look at with this. Laura Rutledge, take it from there.
Yeah, let's talk to Jay and Seth about this, because Jay particularly rolling his eyes a lot as we heard Brian Windhorst's speculation. Now, look, I think we're all fooling ourselves if we say that LeBron hasn't been recruiting people for a long time.
That's not like beginning
here.
the process of recruiting. He's been doing that the whole season. He's been tweeting at different people, showing the kind of love. Like, look, I think there still is a chance for them to potentially land somebody. I would think maybe Kemba Walker before I would think Kawhi or Kyrie or KD. And I still think they have a chance to do something pretty special in LA. But here's my thing, too. If you go into that situation as another top free agent, and you look at LeBron and say, okay, were you able to pick the coach that you felt like you wanted here? And then why didn't that get done? And if that didn't get done, like, what kind of clout? I know you're LeBron, but like, where's that clout now? Like, do I get that kind of clout, or is it just too much?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to sell that. I'm with you from LeBron's standpoint to a big-time free agent. What do you think?
LeBron has to be the guy that's recruiting, because he's part of the most dysfunctional NBA. Look, they are more dysfunctional than the New York Knicks. Yeah. Think about that. Look at what the Lakers have done in the last 5 years, their record, and look at the Knicks' record. We kill the Knicks. We don't kill the Lakers. So they have no one else. If I was the Lakers, I would say, here's the deal, LeBron. All right? You're our chief recruiter, but you need someone else to sell with you. They've got to team up Kobe and LeBron together. And those guys together.
Will that happen?
So now, but here's the thing, because at least then Kobe can sell LeBron and say, you know what?
They
Together,
tried this with
we can do
Magic,
it.
though.
We've done that before. Yeah, but we've done it with Magic. But we saw how dysfunctional that became.
Can I spin all this around?
Please do.
Magic was on First Take saying, yeah, after he obliterated the team, he said,
right,
I would love to own the Lakers one day. So somebody else that maybe would love to own the Lakers one day, and Kobe Bryant, if it's now Kobe and LeBron.
Get in here, Jay.
Oh,
Get in here, boy.
If it's now Kobe and LeBron partner up together, look what that's going.
Laura, you're doing a terrific job keeping these guys in line. I must have to say two things. One, do I see your ankles? Are you
it's
your Don
not
Johnson
just ankles.
Are you on your sexy
Wait a second. Jay Will and I.
He lotion the ankles on.
This is salt and pepper. He's going Urban Outfitters. I'm going Palm Beach.
You look clean. That's number one. Number two, Kemba Walker. Do not leave $80 million on the table.
Hey, but are they going to give it to him? If you're MJ, do you give it to him?
You have no choice. Who else do they have on their
I
team?
know, but you're going to build your whole. I love Kemba. You're going to build your whole franchise.
Who else do they have?
I feel you.
Over the last 10 years.
Jimmy Butler is going to be in LA.
All right, Jimmy Butler. What do you think? Like, so if it's not Kemba, is it Jimmy Butler? Who is
Jimmy
the person
Butler is
they
a
could
fit
get?
with LeBron.
Got it. What do you think?
I mean, I think it would take Jimmy Butler, and you would have to get that trade with AD. I don't think Jimmy Butler is enough to help you win in the West.
You think the AD trade is totally crucial if the Lakers are going to do anything?
I mean, yeah, I wonder if David Griffin's actually going to do it, considering the history with the owner of the team, with the Pelicans, and now considering the way that whole thing went down. But you get AD, now you're in contention. If you don't, you're still floating in the West.
Fourth pick in the draft is not worth what it was.
But
so
at
it's
the
not
draft,
a huge chip.
It could be. That's the one, I think, interesting thing. If they're able to do some things, Jalen, at the draft to kind of drive that price up and make that a more interesting incentive from a trade standpoint, maybe they can get a little
New
more
Orleans
out of that
owner
pick.
felt like that they were tampered with, so she basically said that they would do a deal with the Lakers over her dead body.
True.
There you go.
So that means they're not trying to get the best deal. They're trying not to work with the Lakers. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No,
you go ahead and finish with Crockett.
Do not apologize.
Why am I giving AD to another team in the Western Conference? If anything, I'm giving him somewhere in the East, maybe Boston, and utilize their assets. I'm not giving him to the West.
Exactly.
Look, they are a mess. And the only guy that can obviously fix it, because everyone says, well, no one wants to play with LeBron. One thing we know about LeBron, or when people say he can't do something, he's going to try to do it. So he is going to work his tail off to recruit, but he needs someone by his side. It can't be just him. It could be Clutch Sports. It could be Kobe, but he can't do it by himself.
I think it has to be Jeannie Buss. I think Jeannie Buss needs to have
Kurt Rambis. Maybe Kurt Rambis as well.
Not the rabbi. Not the rabbi. I think
They
it has to be
need
Jeannie.
someone
I think Jeannie
in
has to put a
charge.
spin on it.
The
I
one
keep on
thing
telling you, hire Pat Riley, make him the president, and
that's
then he
not going
can
to happen.
handle
It's
the
a
whole
great
thing.
idea, but it's not
He's
going to happen.
relaxing
And here's the thing about this.
bad.
Jeannie Buss, yes, I think she already feels like she's in LeBron's camp, but to your point, maybe not exactly how LeBron needs her to be. Greeny, take it away.
There are very few hard, fast rules in life, but one of them is never get into a beer-chugging contest with an offensive lineman. So this went very, very well for David Bakhtiari. He was making himself famous for these. This, of course, at the Bucks game last night. If one is good, why isn't twice just as nice? That's David Bakhtiari just throwing them down with a degree of insanity that I think is predictable. So then they throw it over to Aaron Rodgers, whom, by the way, they identified him as being a Game of Thrones walk-on and NFL MVP. And then this is his effort. What do you think? He just couldn't quite get that thing down. So then they throw it back to Bakhtiari, and he's like, well, why not? If you couldn't finish another one, go ahead. I'd take care of business for you right there. That's 3 beers in the span of about 15 seconds, or what he might consider to be a slow night. Aaron Rodgers, meanwhile, said, make it scotch next time, which, candidly, I loved. A-Rod for the win. But hold on, there's more. Because later in the game, another MVP from Wisconsin, Christian Yelich, got into this. He hasn't been old enough to drink for more than about 2 weeks. How old is Christian Yelich? But look at him throwing that. Now is that a full beer? I'm not even 100% sure that was a full beer. So I don't know. Having had a moment now, Rod, see, he's saying that wasn't quite the. So all things considered, there's no question Bakhtiari is the winner here, or in a circumstance like this, does anyone really truly win?
I'm going to say what Jay Will and Bruce Bowen are both thinking. That's cultural. It really is. It really is.
And I'm not going to do it with my mama looking. Come on.
Okay, that's a reasonable way to leave it. Why don't we just leave it right there and move on to the next thing, whatever that thing might be. Perfect. This is the WNBA's 23rd season, and tomorrow we have a rematch of last year's Western Conference Final. The Phoenix Mercury and the Seattle Storm. 3:30 Eastern on ABC and on the ESPN app. Coming up on Get Up, can the Warriors win it all without KD? What if their opponent is the Raptors? We'll ask Jay and others as we roll on. It's Get Up on ESPN.